Good morning, students. This is paper 6.1 in the chapter 3, nuclear instruments. In that, we are discussing the nuclear detectors and also particle accelerators. Today, I will take the topic nuclear detectors. In that, first one is a GM counter. It is a nuclear detector cum counter. It detects the nuclear radiations. It may be alpha, beta, or gamma, and it also counts how many radiations are emitted from the radioactive source. And this is the diagram. It consists of a glass envelope. On that we got a cylindrical metal surface also. The central wire is anode, a metal wire. Thin metal wire is at the center, and in that the outer envelope of the glass is painted with metal, and that is served as cathode. We are connecting this to the positive end of the high tension battery, the central wire, and the outer envelope of this glass cylinder is connected to negative end of the battery. Okay, this is a gas filled detector. GM counter is the long form of this is Ziegler Muller counter. It counts how many radiations are emitted from a radioactive source. If this is a radioactive source, the radiations coming from the source, usually we keep at this end. This is the window of the tube we got. Now here, let me show on this side. Better. Okay, this is the radioactive source. The radiations coming from this source enters the gas filled detector. This is a gas filled detector. Ziegler-Muller counter is a gas filled detector where this envelope, this glass tube, is filled with noble gases like argon, and the pressure is around 10 centimeter of Hg. The pressure of this noble gas is 10 centimeter of Hg. Mercury, we measure pressure in terms of mercury level. So the pressure of noble gases in this tube, noble gases like argon, neon are used in this, and this tube consists noble gases, noble gas, and which will not ionize by the application of the, why we are using noble gas means it should not ionize by the application of the electric field, right? When a radiation from the radioactive source enters the glass tube, it ionizes the atoms of the noble gas. So this is it produces ion pair. Okay, see this. This is the atom. Now it lost this radiation knocks the electron in the outer atom. What happens if ion, the electron is coming here and this is a positive ion now, right? Next, this radiation will go further, it spends some energy in this to produce this ion pair, and again it produces positive ion and negative electron. It continues till it has the capacity to ionize. Once it loses its capacity, it stops. So the ion pairs are produced in the path of the nuclear radiation. Then what happens? All these negative electrons will come. They start moving towards the positive anode, or in other words, they are accelerated and reaching the opposite electrode. So immediately in their path, these are the accelerated electrons now, and they get energy, and again they can produce some more ionization, because the accelerated electrons will knock the electron in the outermost orbit, and some more ionization is taking place. Right? Again this electron is moving. This is secondary. These are primary electrons and these are the secondary electrons. And during their path towards the positive plate, they are accelerated. Again they may produce some more ion pairs. So the gas tube gets discharged. Means it consists of ions. Right? If the applied voltage between positive anode wire and negative metal coat on the glass tube is less than the voltage required to attract them. Right? Now you see this is the graph. If the applied voltage is less to attract these electrons, the electrons are coming towards positive and these positive ions are going towards negative plate. If this voltage is not sufficient, then what happens are these emitted electrons will come and sit on the atom. Instead of going to the electrode, they will again recombine and forms the neutral atoms. They are knocked out, but the applied voltage, if it is not sufficient, they will come and sit on the atom. And everything is normal, the ionization will nullify if the voltage is small. Then what happens? You don't get any counts out of this. The tube is not able to count. So up to certain voltage, the tube is not giving any counts. Once you cross the voltage, particular voltage for that counter, that is called a threshold voltage. Means that voltage is sufficient to attract these electrons, and the positive ions is going to the negative electrode. Once this motion starts, or they are reaching their opposite electrode, what happens? The voltage across this resistance drops. See, this is the voltage we applied. Alright? But what happens if you see the time gap between the electrons reaching the positive electrode and positive ion reaching the negative electrode? There is a time gap. So the electrons which reaches, see these electrons are very light and they easily reach the positive electrode. Whereas the positive ions are heavy, they slowly moving towards the negative electrode. This negative cover, the electron cover on the positive anode brings the voltage down than the applied voltage. This is the applied voltage because of this negative electron cloud over the positive electrode will brings the voltage down below this. Even though the applied voltage is this, but the voltage will come down. Right? But what happens is the positive ion slowly moving towards the negative electrode. When they reach this, they can again build up the voltage. The voltage regain, and this fall and rise will produce a pulse because of this, and this voltage drop and rise across R is called a pulse. Pulse, sudden rise or fall of the voltage or current is known as a pulse. It carries the information. So, what is the information we got? The ionization process has taken place in the tube because of this particle entering in the tube, and that is processed. This pulse is processed to amplifier, and further it is counted. So counts are coming once the voltage is crossed the threshold voltage. Alright, and this process in this range from, I will call this as P, this as Q, this as R, this as S. From P to Q, if you go on increasing the voltage, it will attract more ion pairs towards the electrode. The counts goes on increasing, and this region where by increasing the voltage the counts are increasing, this is called ionization region. In the ionization region, by increasing the voltage you are getting more and more counts, and this happens up to voltage Q, right? Once you reach Q, what happens? This applied voltage is sufficient to attract all the ion pairs produced in the tube towards the electrode, and then what happens? The count is independent of the voltage, or the counts, whatever may be the voltage here in between Q and R, the counts almost remains the same. Since it is a statistical phenomenon, statistical means how many ion pairs are produced by that energetic radiation, is a statistical phenomenon. It may root n is the error always. If it is 1000 counts, 1020, 1030, up to root of 1000. So 1000 plus of root of 1000 is plus or minus, that is around 1000 only. Up to this voltage, this is called a start of Ziegler region or Plateau region. Plateau because it is flat. This is start of the Ziegler region. This is called GM region, Plateau region, and this is the end of the Plateau region. In this region, whatever may be the applied voltage, the counts remains the same. The counts, if it is n plus or minus root n, is almost the same. But if you cross this region, then all of a sudden the counts will become twice of this. In this region, drastically the counts are increasing with the increase in the voltage, and this is called discharge region. Because what happens, now the voltage is too high, even though there is no external particle entering in the tube, because of the high voltage the atom will start, the electrons of this atom will come out of the atom without any initiation, because the voltage is very high, and that will produce ion pair. Here ion pairs are produced because of the coming radiation, but here ion pairs are produced because of the high voltage, and that region is called discharge region. You should not operate Ziegler-Muller region or Ziegler-Muller counter in this region. The suitable region is ZM region. For that reason, what we will do, we mark this point, plateau region. This is the starting where the flat count rate is there, and this is the end of the count rate. We mark this and we take the midpoint as the operating voltage. If there is any voltage fluctuation, you are safe within this region. If you choose this as the operating voltage, then if there is a fluctuation, you will enter into the ionization region. Or if you select this as operating voltage, if there is voltage fluctuation, you will enter into the discharge region. For that reason, they have to take the midpoint of ZM region. If there is any change in the voltage, still it will be in the Ziegler-Müller region or the plateau region. And that is the suitable voltage to count the radiation. Right? A voltage drop or a pulse, this is called voltage pulse, produced across arm is further processed and amplified, then it is connected to the counter. How many voltage pulses are produced, that those are used to make the counts. And here what happens, you see, once the voltage fall to the lower value and it takes time to gain, this is the operating voltage, okay. Once it falls below the operating voltage, it goes below threshold, and the voltage till the voltage regain. At that time, the counter is not able to count because the voltage has dropped to the below threshold voltage. So, if any particle entered here, that is not counted, and that is called dead time. Dead time is the time during which the counter, the voltage dropped below threshold, and the counter is not able to count any radiation entering into this. Okay. Once it regains its voltage, even though if it is not going to the original, a small pulses may start producing. But again we will get a big pulse if it regains the original voltage. And this time from which the time taken to regain its original to produce the original pulse height is called recovery time. Recovery time is the time taken by the GM counter to produce voltage of same height. Here we are getting pulse of small height. Now those are not counted actually. These are the voltage pulses which are counted. Okay, that is called recovery time. That time is it is inactive during this time. Okay, and the other thing that you should remember in this is, if it is completely ionized and we want it to get ready again, it should be free from ionization to count another radiation coming into the counter. For that reason, we should stop the ionization. For that reason, what we will do, we will add some more gas into this. That will absorb, that will stop further ionization in the chamber, and that is process of stopping the further ionization in the GM counter is called quenching, and quenching gas is mixed in the along with noble gas in small quantities to avoid further ionization. Once a particle is entered, it has to be stopped and make it ready to count next particle entering into this, and that gas used to stop The ionization once it produces, see this is an avalanche of ionization is going to produce. When a particle ionizes the atom, see this is the electron produced, this is the positive ion. Okay. When the electron is knocked out, this becomes positive ion, this becomes negative ion, and this is the ion pair produced. But they are accelerated towards their electrode. So the negative electron is accelerated towards the positive. And during this process, again it ionizes the gas atoms by producing ion pairs, because this is accelerated electron, energetic electron. And this again produces this. So there will be complete discharge of the tube, and that is avoided by quenching or stopping the avalanche of the ion pair producing in the tube, and that is called quenching. And quenching gas is added along with the noble gas in a Ziegler-Muller counter, and Ziegler-Muller counter is able to count. It is suitable for beta rays. It can be used to count gamma rays also, but alpha rays are immediately absorbed within the 2 to 3 centimeters of air. For that reason, it is not suitable to count alpha rays, because there is a gap between the source and the tube. So it is best suitable for beta rays. Even you can count gamma rays, right? So the number of counts produced here, because you are working in GM region, there is a disadvantage of a Ziegler-Muller counter is you don't get any idea of the energy of the radiation entering into this. With what energy the alpha, beta, gamma rays entering into the tube, that is not known, because we are working on this. All pulses are of same height in GM region. So the pulse height is not depending on the energy of the radiation. For that reason, it is not suitable to know the energy of the radiation, but it is suitable to count the number of radiations coming out of the source. And it is a gas field detector, very easy to operate. Those are the advantages. Okay, and always it is operated in GM region. Okay, you should avoid it going into the discharge region. This is about a GM counter. There are small definitions you are getting. 1 mark is what is dead time, what is recovery time, what is called quenching, right? What type of gas is filled in the GM counter. These are the 1 mark questions that we can expect in this. Okay, next we take another counter called scintillation counter. That is the second counter. It is solid counter, scintillation. Counter. Scintillation counter. Scintillation, it is based on scintillation. Scintillation, it is a solid material counter, and it is based on scintillation process. Scintillation process means whenever radiations, nuclear radiations, falls on the material, they produce visible light. This is alpha, beta, gamma particle. Alpha, beta, gamma coming from a radioactive source. When it falls on scintillating material, it produces light. Right? So the particles falling on this will be identified by the light emitted by this material, and the material which does this or which produces light due to the particle incidenting on it is called scintillating material, and scintillation counter is based on this scintillation. Okay, now you can see this, the scintillation process. Scintillation counter is this. It consists scintillation head. Then we got a photomultiplier tube. This is called head. This is a photomultiplier tube. Right? And we got here the final this scintillation counter. Usually it may be made up of sodium iodide, is thallium is induced in sodium iodide to get the scintillation, and a source is kept on this scintillation head. This is the radioactive source. And this is the glass tube which allows the easy entry of the particle in this. And here also we got a glass tube. See this is the particles are entering into this scintillation material, and a light wave is produced, and it is going out of this glass tube into the photomultiplier. And here we got a cathode. It is called photocathode. And it is connected to negative. Alright. Then what happens, you see this. This light, the electrons are emitted from this photocathode, means the light coming from the scintillator when falls on this, right, it produces electrons. And these electrons, these are called photoelectrons. They are highly energetic, and they falls on another photocathode which has got lower work function than the first one. Why we choose lower work function means we want to multiply the electrons. This is called photomultiplier tube. So when this energetic electrons falls on this, it produces 2 electrons or more than this number, and this falls on one more photocathode, right, and this is also again connected in turn to negative of this. It is same connected here. All photocathodes are connected to negative, and it has also lower function than this. The number goes on increases. And again we got photocathode. These numbers are increasing, and a bunch of electrons are produced here, and they reach the anode plate. Right? This is connected to positive. All these photoelectrons are connected to cathode. Alright. And a bunch of electrons are reaching this anode end, and a high current is produced, and that will bring a voltage drop across R, and this is further process and amplifier to amplify the signal, and then it is processed, connected to counter. So a radiation coming from the radioactive source falls on the scintillating material. It may be sodium iodide or thallium. Usually this is widely used. And then the light produced because of the entry of this particle, a light is produced, and light produced falls on the photocathode. It produces electrons, and this electron falls on one more diode, is photodiode they call, which has got lower work function. The work function of these cathodes are going to be lesser and lesser. For that reason, you can expect this higher energetic is capable of knocking out 2, and these are knocking out 3, and these are 4, 5, 6. So a bunch of electrons are produced, high current at this, and this is the current passing through the resistor will produce the voltage drop, and that is processed to get the counter. This is the idea of scintillation counter. This is called photomultiplier tube, and the advantage of scintillation counter is the voltage, the pulse that produced here. This is the type of voltage drop we are getting. Depending upon the energy, if the energy is less, the height of the current produced is less, because less number of electrons, less voltage drop. If you are getting more voltage drop, then the electron bunch will be consisting more electrons, and that because the radioactive radiation entering is energetic. So the particles emit with different energy, right? Depending upon the energy of the particle, the pulse height varies. So this height can be calibrated to record the energy of the incident radiation. So it is advantageous over Ziegler-Müller counter, where we are not getting any idea of energy of the particle emitted from the radioactive source. But here we can get energy of the particle emitted from the source. That is the advantage of scintillation counter. Okay, these are the two counters that we studied in this class. One is Ziegler-Müller counter, another one is scintillation counter. The notes will be sent to the WhatsApp group. In the next class, I will take up the accelerators, particle accelerators. Okay, thank you.